All right, this is my manager interview for Dr. Lindsay's PRT 266 class. Can you start off with your name and your occupation?
My name is Gail Browning, and I'm the athletic director for middle school and high school at Neuse Charter School in Smithville, North Carolina.
All right, can you give me a brief summary of what your position consists of?
My position consists of ensuring academic and athletic eligibility for our student athletes, scheduling games against opposing schools, coordinating officials for those games, game management. I'm also a certified athletic trainer, so I do take care of the injuries and other athletic training needs of the school.
All right, and where did you attend college?
I did my bachelor's at East Carolina University, and I did my master's at Averett University in Danville, Virginia. I have my BS in physical education with the concentration in athletic training, and then my master's of education, curriculum and instruction from Averett.
All right, and how long have you been working for Neuse?
I've been at Neuse for 8 years, and I've been an athletic director for 11 years.
11 years, nice. What was your career goals when you were in your beginning stages of college?
Beginning stages of college, my career goals were 100% athletic trainer based. I wanted to work at the Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center and work with high-level performing athletes.
Nice. And how did you get to where you are today?
I was the head trainer at Averett University for a couple of years. The hours became very long. From there, I went into the public school system in Virginia. Our family moved to Florida. The athletic director at the school prior, where I was at, as an athletic trainer, made some poor choices. And I began filling the role for athletic director there. And then when I moved to North Carolina, I stayed in the field of athletic director.
All right. And you said you went into college like with the mindset of athletics, but when did you decide you wanted to do athletics? Like what age around?
Wow. I would say probably 7th grade I knew it was going to be athletics.
7th grade. Nice. What are some of the greatest challenges you've faced so far?
For me, the greatest challenges are twofold. It's time management and it's budget. I'm at a small school, so I fill many roles at that school as athletic trainer, athletic director, both middle school and high school, and teaching responsibilities, so that time management is very difficult for me. I would say budget is also a challenge because we're a small school. We don't always have the resources that other larger schools have.
You spoke about time management. Like, how many hours are you usually working per day?
I would say the typical day is a 12-hour day because I have teaching responsibilities at the school and I have to be at the school when the day starts, and then I also am at the school for home events up to 7 or 8 o'clock at night, basketball games even later.
Mm-hmm. And how do you manage that type of work schedule with your family and outside of school?
That's a tough one. That's a challenge. For me, my daughter does go to the school, so I get to see her. And we balance quiet times when we can throughout the day or breaks between school and the games. With my husband and my family in town, I just have to use my weekend time effectively to make up for the gaps during the week.
Yeah. And what's the favorite part about your job?
Watching the kids grow and develop. It's exciting because we're a K-12 school that I see them when they start in 6th grade athletics all the way through puberty and maturing, and then see them soar as high schoolers and walk away as seniors. To me, that's just awesome to be able to see the full growth spectrum.
Yeah. And what are the least favorite things about your job?
The mundane things, the fact that I'm cleaning the bleachers after games, always picking up after the kids. That's probably one of my least favorite things. I would say sometimes conflict resolution with parents is kind of, no one really likes conflict, so I would say conflict resolution would be something I don't always like to have to deal with.
Do you have any advice for aspiring students in the field?
Aspiring students in the field. So we're talking specifically athletic director or just management in the athletics world?
In the sport industry.
In the sport industry. I would say some areas of the sport industry, it's easier to balance your family hours versus your work hours. shadow or intern in different areas of sports management to make sure you get a full picture of what a career in that field would look like. When I went into athletic training, I knew that's what I wanted to do because I get passionate about seeing the injury and figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it. I didn't always realize that I would be there in the mornings for them to come in for treatment, be there all day for practice, and then after their last practice, ice them down before they leave. I don't think I had a clear understanding of the amount of hours and that side of things. In some areas where they can do shifts where you have an early person that works early to middle and then another one that comes in and overlaps middle to late, I think those are easier areas, and I think that's managed well in different sections of the industry or different areas.
Yeah, and what type of programs or like clubs or organizations did you get involved with at your college to help you get like introduced?
We had a student athletic trainer club. We didn't have, for athletic training, we didn't have time to get involved into too many clubs other than that. We didn't get to play intramurals because we were always covering like the college athletes. So some of those things kind of went by the wayside as far as me physically participating because I was always there covering for others. But there was the student athletic training. We worked with Special Olympics to kind of branch out and that kind of stuff.
Have there been any moments in your career that you like stand out among the rest of them?
Moments in the career. I think I'm probably one of only 3 in the state that are athletic directors and the certified athletic trainer in their school. There's not many that wear both hats, so that would be kind of a standout thing. When I got to the state of North Carolina and I was hired as a female AD, I didn't realize how few female ADs there were in the state, let alone in 1A schools, so that's kind of a standout thing. I don't look at it though as like standing out. I just love what I do and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to kind of sometimes stop and look around and go, golly, I think I'm one of the few.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that.
Yeah. Do you have any like role models or anything that you give credit to where you are today?
I would say work ethic wise, Mike Hanley was one of my trainers at East Carolina University, and I just love kind of how he mentored me as far as athletic training. And I was able to, after I graduated from college, I went to work for the team orthopedist for a couple years in their office. And I think those relationships between the college level athletic trainers and working with the team physician, I think that molded me into the trainer.
All right. And what long-term goals do you have moving forward in the career?
That's kind of exciting because Neuse Charter is a young school. It's not been around for a long time. I think this will be our 7th graduating class. So for me, it's just building the legacy. We've worked on trying to establish a tradition. I mean, we're in a 1A conference with schools like Princeton who've been around forever. And so for us, we've got to begin to lay the foundation to build a legacy, a program that's going to continue and grow athletically. Long-term goals would be to make sure that we have more on-campus coaches in place, continue to push for coaches' education so that our coaches are up to date on new techniques of coaching or different skill sets, that kind of stuff.
What would you say is one specific skill that's needed in the athletics director position?
I would say communication. Nowadays, there's so many different forms of communication. Whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, or we use a platform called 8 to 18 trying to communicate with the parents. And then I've got 3 different principals on campus, elementary, middle, and high, that all send out newsletters. So it's being able to communicate effectively, and to have 1 or 2 sounding boards to get all of the information out on.
Mm-hmm. And just a couple questions left. What major changes have you made in your time at Neuse Charter that have helped benefit the athletics program?
When I got here, they were playing baseball in T-shirts, blue T-shirts with white numbers. So it was rough when I got here. So I mean, we're at the point now where we're not just in uniforms. We have an Under Armour contract so that we look like we feel like teams. And I would say that kind of branding the program, trying to get, just one set cougar paw or one logo to kind of establish who we are. Picking our school, the school was blue, and there were so many different colors of royal blue. Is it Kentucky blue or royal blue, or just being able to say, this is our school color, this is our logo, this is our uniform, this is our brand, has been, I think, big for us, being seen in the public. Yeah.
All right, and just one last question as we wrap up. Do you have any advice for me, being a person that wants to get into the athletics director field and stuff like that?
Well, for you, it's easy because I think you have the passion for athletics and the basic knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It would be to really look for internships or those entry-level jobs to where you can observe multiple different areas of the sports industry to fine-tune on what it is going to be for you, whether you're going to do the statistics side or whether you want to be the announcer side, or, sports management. When you're looking at big events, how does this particular organization balance the time for the person? Is that one person there for 16-hour days, or do they have a staff that they put in place to kind of cover it? So it would just be kind of do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this time and allowing me to come here and do that.
Yeah. Thank you.